guys, what's up and welcome back to my channel. How am I going to start this video without saying congratulations? Congratulations on 50k. Look at our channel of yesterday. Small nyash they shake. Guys, mothers are mothers anytime, any day, anywhere. If you like be 50 years old, your mother is still your mother. My mother said she doesn't like the way my neck is empty, that she put on a chain. She has got to bring one of the chains that we got for her when we went to Mexico. When we went jewelry shopping, we got her some jewelry as well. So she's borrowing me this one. If not, I'm the one that bought it for you. I would have taken it again. I would have colobied it. So guys, welcome back to the channel. Look at us at 50,000 subscribers. Yeah. No. I have to congratulate us. This channel that I started as a joke. Just to vlog, okay, personal stuff, one or two things here. Look at us, we've grown to 50,000. Oh my God, that's huge. Thank you so much for joining me here. I really appreciate all your love and support. We have gone through so much on this channel, from pregnancy to relocation to different things, and you guys have been so loving and encouraging. I want to take out this time to say thank you so much. Gracias, obrigado. I appreciate you so much. So yes, today's video is long overdue. Microwave. No, that's the beauty of vlogging. This is a vlog channel, so don't expect you will hear children's voice, you will hear microwave beeping. It's part of it. This is not NEZEVILLE. Yeah. So today's video is long overdue from the first one where I unboxed stuff that came from Nigeria to Canada. And I think that one of the things that we Nigerians, or should I even say Africans in general, miss when we migrate abroad is the food. Everybody in my house loves Nigerian food, from my husband, of course, to all the kids, and even I myself, who am not really open to trying out new food that much. So I would prefer to just eat what I already know. Besides, I'm being very conscious to keep my children grounded to their roots. And one of the cultures that I would like to live with them is the culture of our food, because I know that if it comes to all this pizza, burger, and all those mac and cheese and stuff, they would eventually know how to eat them, and they eventually eat them. But the one that I have to consciously put in their face is these ones that are not the norm here, right? Our banga, amala, newedu, afang, egusi, and all of those things. So how do I stay on point to ensure that my home is not lacking, that correct Niger food is not missing in my home? It's by importing or cargoing Nigerian food and foodstuff from Nigeria to Canada. Now you may ask, because I have also asked myself too, why go through the troubles of bringing the food from Nigeria when there are African stores that I could just walk into and pick what I want sharp? Is it even worth it? I ask myself the same question. And to answer myself, to clear my doubts, I have done a detailed experiment, and I have come up with empirical facts and figures, which I am going to be sharing with you guys today. At the end of this video, you will not only know how to cargo, but the best methods of cargoing, or the time frame it takes, and the items that can be cargoed and are prohibited from being cargoed. You would also get the breakdown and the cost analysis. I'm going to present to you guys all the figures comparing cargoing vis-a-vis buying here. And at the end of the day, we're going to know if it is worth it, if it is being penny wise and pound foolish, still cargoing items and foodstuff from Nigeria and Africa to Canada or abroad in general. Let us begin. Basically, there are two ways of cargoing. You either cargo through sea or via air, and they both come with their pros and cons and different ways that they are done. I'll start with the sea cargo. Can you guess the major advantage of the sea cargo, of using sea to cargo? As the name implies, cargoing via sea means your stuff are put into a container and transported via sea to the country of your residence, while air, it's freight, so it comes through cargo planes, through the air, right? So what are the advantages and disadvantages of using both? I'll start with the sea cargo. For sea cargo, can you just guess the advantage? I think it goes without saying. The top advantage of cargoing via sea is that it is a lot cheaper than cargoing by air. It is so much cheaper. Don't worry, I'm going to give you all the figures. Right now, sea is a very big medium. You can load tons and tons and tons of containers in it. So logistically speaking, it will be cheaper to go by sea than air. I have my little book here and I'm going to read you the price difference. Now, to cargo by sea, it is 400 naira per kg. So if this spoon is 1 kg, it will cost me 400 naira to cargo this spoon via sea to Canada. While via air, it is 5,900, no, 6,000. Let's put it at 6,000 because the lady gave me a discount based on some certain considerations, but the cost as at when I did this cargo was 6,000 naira per kg compared to 400 naira per kg. And the truth is that these prices are not static. This is a lot more expensive than when I cargoed the first time. And as the dollar rate, the exchange rate keeps fluctuating and going on the increase, as is the pattern, the prices will keep going up. So you can see a 5,600 naira difference per kg. So you can times that by, say, 200 kg, and you see that it is a lot more cheaper to go via sea. So, of course, you'll be able to send heavier things via sea without having to worry about price. We're talking about foodstuff like maybe gari, beans, egusi. This stuff are very heavy. If you want to start doing that per kg on air, it will almost be penny wise, pound foolish. It will almost come at the same price that you would buy it over here. So sea cargo gives you an opportunity to move this heavy stuff without having to pay so much for logistics. Thirdly, the sea cargo allows for some items that may be prohibited via air, like palm oil. I know that to move palm oil, you need to move by sea, except maybe you want to freeze it. Yeah, maybe. But typically, palm oils are usually exported via sea cargo, not air cargo. What are the disadvantages? Can you guess again? My container is on the high sea. Have you heard that before? When an Igbo man tells you my container is at the high sea, that means he's expecting goods and he would wait for months. So there is a time factor. Sea cargo takes a lot of time. Now let me go back to my book and tell you how much time it cost for me to get my items via air vis-a-vis sea. If you didn't watch the previous video, I cargoed some items via air and cargoed some by sea. So what is the time difference? For sea cargo, the items left Nigeria on the 14th of March and it got to me first week of August. So let's do the maths. That's April, May, June, July, August. That's 5 months for me to get my stuff. On the other hand, the air cargo left on the 14th of March and it got to me on the 26th of March. Sometimes it could even come sooner. That is what? 14 plus 14 is 2 weeks, 28. So it's not even up to 2 weeks. It came to me in a week plus. So you can see that the sea cargo takes a lot of time. So what does that tell you? If what you want to cargo is urgent, if there is a sense of urgency to your items, then of course, air cargo is your best bet. Maybe you have a wedding, you need this wig or this clothes sharp from Nigeria, then you should be talking about air cargo. So again, when it comes to urgent stuff or perishable stuff, since it takes a lot of time, items that would perish easily, like maybe wet pap or fresh periwinkle, I do not even, that's just basic common sense. Anything that you know that is perishable should not go via sea. Secondly, one other disadvantage of the sea cargo is they do not allow some items. Some items are also prohibited via sea, like stockfish, dry fish, and was it crayfish? Let me just say stockfish and dry fish because that's one I can remember very clearly now. We're not allowed to be cargoed via sea. I don't know whether it's because of the risk of rodents, attracting rodents or all of that, I don't know. Or the smell, I do not know. But I had to move the stockfish and the dry fish via air, and the crayfish. Momsy just confirmed that. Then another major disadvantage of the sea cargo is that there is a risk of insect invasion, risk of insect plague, like I cargoed beans via sea. Okay, that was the only comma I had in this my cargo. And by the time it came here, oh my God, it was completely overtaken by bean beetles. But if it was via air, I do not expect that within that 1 week period, that much invasion would have happened, if at all it's going to happen at all. But because the insect had plenty of time to stay in there and breed and multiply and fill the earth, they did a number on my beans. So that's what may happen when these things come via sea cargo. Another disadvantage here, I would say, is the requisite amount of items that you must have to qualify for sea cargo. So for you to ship items via sea, you should have up to 100 kg worth of items. So, oh, I want to ship this phone, I want to ship this dress. No. They're not going to go through all that logistic issues just because of 2 kg worth of business. They usually peg the minimum amount of kg at 100 kg. So if you do not have up to 100 kg, you won't be able to qualify to ship via sea. So it's either you buy more stuff or you pair with somebody else in your city that wants to move things, and you guys will come as one unit. But for air cargo, it's not like that. Air cargo, the minimum is 10 kg. So if you have small items and you don't have a lot to move, you can go via air. And that restriction of gathering up to 100 kg does not apply to you. So having said this, I think the tips are very clear, right? Sea cargo, very cheap, but don't put urgent things there, don't put perishable things. So any items that are not urgent and will not spoil easily, move via sea. You're not in a hurry, they would come. But if it's urgent or if it is perishable, send via air because you're trying to maximize what you spend, right? Then another tip I would give you is you have to have knowledge of how to preserve these items. For example, the ogbono, we Nigerians use it to cook draw soup. I don't know if other countries use it, but yeah, the ogbono is best cargoed when it hasn't been blended. So cargo it in its seed form, its raw form. If you blend it before cargoing and it stays 5 months, 6 months, because the sea cargo can take between 4 months to 6 months, right? The ogbono might come to you bad, decayed, the taste would change, the smell would change, it would be smelling like soup, right? So you have to know how to manage your items. The beans, for example, when that beans was being cargoed, my mom forgot to put pepper in the beans. So she called the cargo lady and told her to please buy pepper and put, right? But you know, something that is not your own, you might not be able to do it to the kind of taste that the owner will. So the lady put pepper, but it was not enough. So the pepper she put was not enough to keep the insects away, right? So for the beans, you know that you have to put a lot of pepper. There's even this stuff that the lady later introduced to me that she says keeps the beetles away. So you just have to know how to package these things so they don't get bad on the sea. Now I'm stuck with a bag of beans with so many bean beetles. I don't even know what to do with it, whether I will just throw it away, because the time to start picking that thing one by one, my God, I don't think I have the time because they are really much. So yeah, that was one lesson that I learned. So having said the advantages and disadvantages and given my tips, let us go straight into the process. The first step of your cargo journey is to gather your items. Now you have to be very deliberate. You have to be intentional when buying your things for cargo because you are buying in bulk, right? So it's not something I just buy 1 or 2, you're buying in bulk. So the first thing that is priority when gathering your items, buying your things for cargoing, is to be mindful of expiry dates. Expiry dates, yeah. So you don't want to pack 100 or 200 sachets of spices that are going to expire in 3 months. So whoever is doing the shopping, please tell them to buy items that have long, far expiration dates. Then you also have to be careful not to buy contraband items. There are some items that are contraband that will not be allowed in, whether via air or sea. I'm going to read you some of the items on that list, right? So you need to be conversant with contraband items before you start shopping, so you don't shop and at the end of the day you have to give it out or it becomes some loss. So having that in mind, your gathering of stuff can either be done by yourself. If you're still in Nigeria, you want to move, you can buy your stuff, cargo it before you start coming. Or if you're already abroad, then it's either you get somebody to buy the items for you. If you have a family member that can purchase these items for you, just as my mom did some of the buying, or if you have a trusted person. There's some people that's their business. I have a lady that joined my mom to make mine a reality. All the grinding of the pap, all the grinding of the egusi, it's her work. She goes to the market, buy things, get them arranged and ready, and they have these things, you know, ready, packed well and sent. So I'm going to leave that contact of that person right on the screen. So if you want such services, you can reach out to them. She is in Lagos. And yes, this cargo stuff happens in either Lagos or Abuja, right? Because that's where the major international airports are. So if you are residing any other places apart from Lagos and Abuja, you might have to arrange for logistics, like all these buses and all these people that would help you to send those stuff to Lagos or Abuja. So when your items are ready, they are packed, the next thing is to get it over to the cargo company. Sometimes these cargo companies have an arrangement where they can come to your house and pick up, because I for one didn't want my mother to go through that stress of going to their office at Ikeja. Their office, most times those cargo companies have their offices at Ikeja where the airport is. So I didn't want her to go through that stress. So I think I paid 12,000 naira as at then for taxi for the lady to come to my home, pick up, and the cost of taking it back. So that's an option you can discuss with your cargo company if they can do pickup. If not, then you'll be required to take it to them. So before you even take it to them, they would advise you on how to package it. Some will tell you, please don't use Ziploc. These are the kind of bags that we need. So before you start buying bags to package, please ask them first, how should I package the beans? Should I use a jerry can? Who told Nigerians that this rubber here is called jerry can? Where did that name come from? So you ask them, can I use a jerry can to package the beans, or should I put this in a sack? Just, liaise with them. They'll tell you how they want things to be packaged. Before these items leave your house, I would advise that you take pictures of them, you count them, oh yes, you weigh them, so you can have an idea of what the weight is. You get a jotter, you document everything. You take a picture, you send them what you're sending out to avoid stories that touch, right? Because you might have items that weigh maybe 200 kg, and when you get there, they'll tell you that it's 300 kg. That's a huge discrepancy. And that's maybe someone trying to play on your intelligence or cheat you. So it's always good to get a scale and weigh your items if you're not taking it there by yourself. If you're taking it there by yourself, then they'll weigh it in front of you. So please take notes so you don't get cheated. Document whatever you have there and send them a copy so they will know that you have 100 stockfish, you have 3 nylons of crayfish. Please, you have to have that too. Then the next point is payments. So there are 3 major expenses that you're going to incur when you're cargoing. The first one is the cost of purchasing the items. The second is the cost of cargoing it. And then the third is the cost of clearing your items from the wharf. Then there may also be the cost of having the items delivered to your doorstep. So there is the option when it gets to your country, there's the option of you either going to pick up, or if you want delivery, like I use delivery, time, anything that's time is an issue for me. So I would rather, my time is very expensive. So when I equate the cost of my time, I don't mind taking part of the money from that time and pay for services and have people do these things for me. So instead of driving there, I paid for the stuff to be delivered to me. Now take note also that there are some cargo companies that make the cost of all these things all encompassing in your bill. So some will tell you this cost is just for cargoing, but for clearing and delivery, it's a different cost. While some, like the first lady I used when I just came to Canada, the first lady that cargoed for me, I didn't pay for clearance and delivery. It was all encompassing. So I just paid, and the cost of cargoing, clearing, all those things didn't concern me. I just saw my package at the front of my door, and that was really cool. But of course, it will be more expensive. So when you are doing your cost comparisons, factor the facts, put into consideration that, okay, this cost is lower because I'm going to pay for clearance and I'm going to pay for delivery. So when you do your plus and minus, you then know which one is indeed more affordable. So as I mentioned earlier, it's not everything that is cargoable. It's not everything that you can cargo. Let me just read out a bit of some items that will not be allowed. So you don't go and start buying now. When you get there, they will fling everything away. Okay. For things allowed, grinded corn, noodles, achi, Cameroon pepper, non-alcoholic drinks like malts can be cargoed. Beans or fada rice, golden morn, tin tomatoes, pepper soup spice, locust beans, nor seasoning cube, not no chicken, not ordinary. Crayfish, gari, ogbono, semo, yam flour, egusi, palm oil, crayfish, okpa, beans or fufu flour, custard, abacha, groundnuts, bitter cola, mortar and pestle, blended pepper soup spices. There are a lot. Bangao, Milo, cooking pot, bag, soya spice, Titus, sardine, zobo leaves, all of these, powdered pap, spices, even abacha, all of these can be cargoed. Now, items that cannot, prohibited items, perishable food items, antifungal creams, pomo, meat, dairy products, chicken, medications, alcoholic drinks, bleaching creams, agbo, kilishi, live snails, herbs, ammunition, explosive materials, batteries, snake oil, and snake powder. All of these cannot be cargoed. So I think before you even start this cargo conversation or buying anything, you should speak to your cargo company and tell them to send you a list of their cargoable versus uncargoable items, all right, so you can be guided. So now we have gotten to the big part of this video, the cost, where I'm going to break it down for you. We are going to be doing this analysis using golden mon. All right, I got 2 cartons of golden mon from Nigeria at 42,000 naira for the 2 cartons. That makes 1 carton 21,000, and there are 6 inside, right? 6 inside. So if I got the carton for 21,000 naira and there are 6, that means 1 would be what? 3,500 naira, because 3,500 naira times 6 will give me 21,000. So that is the retail price. Good. You need to follow. And 3,500 naira equivalent to Canadian dollars is $3.1. So this has a retail price of $3.1 in Nigeria. So what is the price abroad in Canada? I buy one of this golden mon at $21 at the minimum, and $21 is 23,500 naira. So that is 23,500 naira for 1, as against 3,500 naira for 1 if I bought it in Nigeria. So what will a carton amount to? That's in Canada. If I am calculating in my naira currency, that will be 23,500 naira times 6. Remember that it is 6 in a carton. So that would bring the price of a carton to 141,000 naira if I am buying this in Canada, as against now that I bought it in Nigeria, which brought it to 21,000 naira for a carton. Now that is not all. It looks very nice at this point. Oh, that's a lot of difference, right? But remember that we are just calculating purchase price for now. We haven't added cost of shipping, cost of clearance, and the other antecedent costs. Let us do that. So how much would it cost me to ship this carton of golden mon to Canada? 1 carton of golden mon is 900 grams. So shipping this 6 will be 900 grams times 6. And that will amount to 5,400 grams. Shipping is not calculated via grams, it's calculated via kilograms, kg, right? So what is 5,400 grams to kilograms? That is 5.4 kilograms. So this carton of golden mon weighs 5.4 kilograms. So what will be the cost of shipping 5.4 kilograms from Nigeria to Canada? I will be using sea cargo here because I told you that first, this is not a perishable item and it's not urgent. So of course, this should be shipped via sea. And I told you earlier that shipping items via sea comes at a cost of 400 naira per kg. So this is 5.4 kg for this carton of golden mon times 400 naira. That's 400 per kg, right? So 5.4 kg times 400 naira, which is the cost of shipping, will amount to 2,160 naira that will be the cost of shipping 5.4 kg at 400 naira per kg, 2,160 naira. That is not expensive. So what's the next cost that will be incurred and that I incurred? The clearance fee. How much is that? The cost of clearing items via sea cargo is $1.6 per kg, and $1.6 in naira is 1,789 naira. So since this carton of golden mon is 5.4 kg, as I said, we are going to times 5.4 kg times 1,789 naira, which is the cost of clearing this thing from the wharf, and that will be 9,660 naira for clearing. So let us add the whole costs. So first we have the cost of purchasing, which is 21,000 naira to purchase this carton of golden mon from Nigeria. And then we have the cost of shipping, where we times the 5.4 kg that this carton weighs by 400 naira, because it costs 400 naira per kg, right? And we arrived at 2,160 naira. Then we added the cost of clearing, which is $1.6 per kg. And since we have 5.4 kg here, the cost came out to 9,660 naira for clearing. So add 21,000 naira cost of buying to 2,160 naira cost of shipping to 9,660 naira cost of clearing. That would bring us to 32,820 naira. That is the cost of having this carton of golden mon come to me from Nigeria. Total cost. And so since I bought 2 cartons, we will times 32,820, the cost of one, times 2. That would bring us to 65,640 naira for the 2 cartons of golden mon bought and delivered back. So those are the figures if I am cargoing. What are the figures if I am walking into an African store and picking this item? As I mentioned, one of this costs $21. How much is $21 Canadian dollars in naira? That is 23,500. So the cost of one is higher than the cost of a carton in Nigeria, right? Okay, let's go on, because we've not factored other costs. So this is 23,500 naira for one. And so a carton will be 23,500 times 6, since there are 6 in the carton, right? I hope you're understanding me. It's simple maths, don't worry. So what is 23,500 times 6? That will be 141,000 for a carton. And since I bought 2 cartons, 141,000 times 2, that will be 282,000 for 2 cartons. No clearance, no cargo fees, no nothing. Just 282,000 naira to get my 12 golden mon here, which is 2 cartons. What was our calculation with the shipping? Remember all the additions we did, and we arrived at what? 65,640. Buying, shipping, and clearing. While buying here will be 282,000. That is a big difference. So by cargoing, I saved myself 216,360 naira. And it might look like a little, but if we consider the fact that that's 216,000 with some fractions can buy at least 61 extra sachets of this golden mon, then it gives you something to think about. If you put the clearance and everything, maybe say 50 pieces, 50 extra golden mon, then that's something. And you know very well, I am a typical Igbo girl. You know that. And you know we don't play with our figures. We do not play with our arithmetics. And I am the chief. My husband appointed me the chief financial accountant of the home. So I must ensure that the family's income is maximized and we're not having income leakages. So this is the balance sheet and the profit and loss analysis. Now this is even for something small. Let's put this aside. Yeah, so this is even for something small. Golden mon is even one of the not expensive items Let us even talk about stockfish. I'm not going to go through all the mathematics for stockfish, but just imagine the stockfish I bought. Now, these prices I'm giving you is at maybe 6 months ago. Prices of things are going higher every day, right? And so will they reflect on the items that are also here, right? Because they buy from there too. So what I'm trying to say is, okay, the stockfish I bought, I carried a lot of stockfish. Stockfish prices vary according to the type of stockfish, the parts of the body of the stockfish. The ear, for example, is cheaper than some parts, right? So I bought half bag of stockfish. A full bag goes for like 1 million naira. So I bought one, which is 500,000 naira. 500,000 naira converted to Canadian dollars is about 447 Canadian dollars. 400 and something Canadian dollars. That's what it cost me to get all of that stockfish. But over here, a stockfish as small as this, you'll see $300. So if I were to pieces that stockfish and they were to be sold here, that 400 and something dollars that I bought it can be sold for up to $10,000 here. That is the margin when it comes to those items like fish, stockfish, those expensive items, egusi or bolo. The difference is really much. So for the stockfish part, I've saved over $10,000. Who even dash monkey banana? Who bought me to even buy that quantity of stockfish in Canada? That cannot happen. So the answer to the big question is staring at us right in the face. Yes, it is a lot more cost effective to cargo items from back home to abroad. And this is by no chance putting down the businesses of my brothers and sisters doing the African store business. Of course, it's a business. They have to pay taxes, they have to pay staff, they have to pay shop rent and all of that. So they have to also factor expenses, which I am not incurring. Mine is for personal consumption. So yes, that's their business. I'm not trying to put down their business. What I'm trying to say is, individually speaking, it's a lot more cost maximizing. So definitely once in a while, maybe you're out of stock, or there's some urgent things you need to pick, or maybe there's some things that you cannot just cargo. Like if I want to buy snails, I will not start cargoing snails. No. I'm not an Alaroro. If I want to cook with periwinkles and all those stuff, I'm not going to start doing that. Okay, I would go to my African store. I'm still always going to the African store. You get. So there are still things, they're a necessity. There are still so many things that we buy from there. But those bulk items, I still believe that it is better financially to have it cargoed than buying them here. To wrap up this video, I'm sure some people would be asking, okay, Neze, what is your plug? Who is your plug? Drop down her number, the person that did your cargoing for you. I eat as much as I want to. I'm not a hoarder of information. You already know me. When God blesses me with information about something, I love to share it, right? But I'm very hesitant on this particular one because the last time I shared for the first cargo, some people had some not too pleasant experiences. And you know how these things are. Even though it should be common sense that it doesn't have to do with me, for the fact that they patronize those people because of I brought it to them. I was getting a lot of the hits, like a lot of the complaint on my DM. Neze, talk to this woman, Neze, and it now became a problem that I have to deal with. So because of that, I told myself that when it comes to this cargo thing, I'm not going to quickly introduce anybody, because I find that this cargo business, sometimes there's some things that might happen that are beyond that cargo business owner's influence. Because a business that does not start and end with you, where other people's cooperation or effectiveness rubs off on your delivery, is something that is very risky. The cargo lady can do her own part, but maybe customs, it will have a problem with customs. So it's not 100% guaranteed, if I can put it that way. I cargoed red oil. It's over 1 year now and it never got to me. So just imagine if it was all these things that didn't get to me, or somebody else, maybe the red oil got to me, and palm oil, for those that do not know what we call red oil, and I now introduced that person to someone else and it didn't come. The person might not be happy with me. So sometimes this thing, there might be glitches here and there, and I want to, as much as possible, distance myself from those kind of glitches. But if you insist, having heard this disclaimer, and you come to my DM and say, Neze, don't worry, I want to take the risk, give me the person's contact, I will personally, privately refer, but I'm not going to throw out that contact on my YouTube brand. I hope you understand. All right. So yes, guys, thank you so much for joining in on this video. I hope it was sort of informative or educative. At least you guys know that, oh, don't ever second guess the fact that cargoing is a lot better than buying here. I hope I've been able to tell you a thing or two about the whole process. Right? Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, you get to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Give this video a big thumbs up, of course. Drop all your thoughts and comments down below and stay glued, for we have so much more coming your way. It's me, your girl, Barrister NEZE, and this is NEZE Peperempe. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.